Hey, how's everyone doing? Hope everyone had a great weekend. So much has happened. I'm just going to get right into it. About an hour before I came on, some breaking news came out about Tiger Woods being in a car accident. He had to be rescued by the jaws of life. So far, they've said it's the injuries are non-life threatening, injuries to his legs, and as I talk, he is in surgery. So it's something to keep an eye on. Thankfully, they say it's not life threatening, so that's some good news. On to news from this past week. Carson Wentz has been traded from the Eagles to the Colts, which I think will be a good fit for him. Philip Rivers excelled in that offense. They have a great young running back in Jonathan Taylor. I'm pretty sure you had over 1,000, maybe even 1,500 yards rushing last year, which is good for a quarterback. It opens up the passing game. I'm not really sure what they have as a receiving core, but even a decent receiving core works out if you have a run game. The only problem with Carson Wentz, can he stay healthy? He seems to get hurt every year. Every single year he's injured. He'll play about 6 to 7 games, then he'll get hurt, have to miss a couple of games. Then he'll come back and get hurt, and it's just the same cycle over and over and over. Can he stay healthy? That is going to be the main thing. If he can stay healthy, that team's going to have a deep playoff run. Are they Super Bowl contenders? I don't know about Super Bowl contenders. I'd still say probably the Chiefs are probably still the leading in the AFC, but I would say they're up there. They can definitely, the Bills are up there as well. The Bills, if the Bills can get their defense on par with their offense, because that defense in the playoffs was just, it was sad, just straight up sad. Nothing else I can say about that. But yeah, so I think the Carson Wentz pickup is big. Philip Rivers they got into the playoffs. They lost to the Bills by one possession in the playoff game, and now you get another vet in Carson Wentz, where if he stays healthy, I think they can make a deep playoff run. So that's just, we'll see. I heard on the radio that the Seahawks are listening to calls about Russell Wilson, which is interesting. It probably has a little bit to do about the comments he made a couple of weeks ago about not being too pleased with how many hits he's taken the last couple of years, which I understand where he's coming from. He's your franchise quarterback, and he's been sacked, not hit, just sacked over 300 times the last couple of years. You probably should invest in an offensive line to help protect your quarterback. That's just me. Me being a Niner fan, you know what? Don't protect him. I don't care. Let him get hit as many times as you want him to get hit. No problems here. But if I'm a Seahawks fan, I'm saying get an offensive line to help protect this guy. He's proven, as much as I don't like the Seahawks, you give him time, he can make things happen. But he's constantly running as for his life, always getting hit. Sooner or later, your body's going to break down and you're not going to be able to bounce back. Let's be honest. But I guess there's about a third of the league has called them, and they're not saying no. They're not saying yes, but they're not saying no. They said this talking point, it starts with 3 first-round picks, which if you're a team and you feel like, you know what, we need to go at this right now. This is our time frame right now. Maybe you give him 3 first-round picks in the next 3 years, and you go with Russell while he's in his prime. Probably doesn't have many years left in his prime, but the few that he can give you, if you feel like you're only a quarterback away from getting that next level, you think about that trade. You think about it hard, really hard. Dak Prescott's another quarterback out there. Cowboys, are they going to franchise tag him again? Today was the day that you can start franchising players. If they franchise him, they have to pay 120% of his previous contract. Do they want to do that? Or do they go out there and maybe get a Deshaun Watson? Or maybe they make a trade and they go out and get Russell Wilson because they feel like they're a quarterback away. But if you do that, why not just keep Dak? I mean, Dak, he has the leverage here. He got hurt last year, and look what happened to the Cowboys. They just fell off. Again, not a Cowboy fan, but he proved without him, that team is bad, bad, bad. And I thought personally that Zeke Elliott was the main factor in that team. Boy, was I wrong. He fell off. Dak was gone. I thought he was a Derrick Henry. Just give Zeke the ball and let him eat, and he'll just carry that team. No, sirree. I don't know if he wasn't healthy or what, but he just did not perform last year like I thought he could. I thought it was going to prove the other way around that the Cowboys didn't need Dak. No, they need Dak. They don't have Dak. They're a bottom feeder. So the ball's in his court, or the Cowboys' court. He can do it. He can say what he wants. Like, hey, you know what? I want this money. Give it to me. What are they going to say? No, sorry, we don't need you. Well, look what you did without me. You guys were terrible. So, I mean, he can do what he wants, basically. I mean, do they want to pay him another franchise tag or pay him franchise tag him again? Why not? If you're going to do that, you might as well just sign him to a contract, right? I mean, it would just make more sense. But so there's a couple of things to look forward to. Again, Deshaun Watson, he's saying he does not want to play with the Texans. They're saying he's their quarterback. So, I mean, someone's going to have to budge here or there. Sooner or later, someone's going to budge. He's just going to have to bite the bullet and just play there, even though they're obviously in a revamp mode. JJ Watt opted or got his release. See where he ends up going next year. Possibly the Steelers to play with his brothers. But also, do you want to keep a quarterback around when he's in his prime when you know you're not going to be contending? Why not get some younger draft picks, especially with the quarterbacks coming out this year? You got 4 or 5 quarterbacks. You know what? Trade them to a team. Get a younger quarterback. Have them develop in your system with these younger guys. It's like, it just makes sense to me. Now, Deshaun Watson, the team that he wants to go to is the interested one. He wants to go to the Jets. I don't understand that at all. Like, the Jets, they don't have an offense, they don't have a defense, they don't have a run game. I mean, their most successful running back last year was Frank Gore, 40-year-old Frank Gore. Like, what? The reason why he wants to go there is because Saleh. But that's great. The coach is there, but you don't have anything to work with there. I mean, you got nothing. The team's bad, like bad. They're so bad they couldn't even lose correctly. It's just, I just don't see why he would want to go to the Jets. If I'm the Texans, I'm saying, yep, go ahead. Give us like 3 draft picks, maybe even take Darnold and a quarterback in the draft. And there you go. You have Darnold, and then you have a young draft guy ready to go in a couple of years. I mean, I'm just saying like, hey, maybe this or that. Don't really follow either team, so I couldn't tell you exactly what's going on over there, but I would say start with that. The T-Wolves a couple of days ago fired their head coach after a loss, and then within about an hour or so, hired a new coach from a different organization. I can't be the only one that think that's pretty shady. Basically, their head coach was a lame duck. Now, I know they have the worst record in the NBA. They just can't win any games. They get close and then they lose. I guess you can kind of say the San Diego or LA Chargers of basketball. They just find new ways to lose every game. They're in it, and then they end up losing. But how do you fire a coach after a loss and then 2 hours later make an announcement that you have your new full-time coach? That just seems shady. Not to mention, they have an associate head coach or associate coach on that roster. Why didn't he get the job? If I'm that associate coach, I'm heading to my papers and I'm gone. Like, I'm the associate head coach. Something happens to this coach, I'm the new coach. I'm the coach of this team. That's why I'm the associate coach. So if something happens, it's my job to take over this team. Yet you're going to go to another organization and hire somebody else, and now I'm under him. That's not how it works. I would not be happy. Like I said, I'm not handing in my papers. There you go. I'm gone. I'm going to find a job somewhere else. That just seems really like bad management going on there. It sounds like to me. But hey, that's the T-Wolves, I guess. What can I say? Over the weekend, collegiate athlete named Caleb Pendleton, his first two collegiate at bats, he hit 2 grand slams in the first inning. Wow. I do that, I'm done. I'm walking off the field. Coach, it's been nice. I'm gone. It's only going to get worse from here. It's not going to get any better. 2 grand slams, 1 inning, first 2 at bats. True freshman. Yep. Peace. Nice knowing you guys. I'm done. It's going to get worse from here. You can't talk about a conversation starter at a party, especially in college. We're not supposed to be having those, but hey, they're having them. Hey, so just go up to your girl. Hey, do you hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning? Yeah, let's go. That's just unheard of. Unless major leagues, I know it's happened once. Fernando Tatis, he hit 2 grand slams in the same inning with the Cardinals against the Dodgers. And if you're wondering, why does that name sound familiar? His son, Fernando Tatis Jr., just signed a huge 14-year, $340 million contract. 14 years. I'm not even going to talk about the money. 14-year contract. Like, good for him signing that contract. But 14 years? What are the Padres all of a sudden the Yankees and I didn't hear about it? Like, they got like 14. Like, what are the chances he stays on that team for the whole 14 years? He's young, so he's probably going to be in the league for 14 years. But what are the chances he stays on the Padres? The Padres for 14 years. I'm saying there's like 30% chance within 6 to 7 years at most he's traded because they can't afford him. There's no way that you're going to be able to afford that. So I was wondering, the last couple of years, say 10 years, what are the longest contracts years-wise? Not money-wise, but years-wise. So I looked it up real fast. So, of course, Tatis with 14. Last year, Mookie Betts for 12 years. Got a World Series ring out of it. So right now it's good for the Dodgers. So we'll see how it progresses. But right now, really good. Got that World Series ring, much as I hate it. Bryce Harper with the Phillies for 13 years. And he's even older. So we'll see how long until he's traded. Mike Trout for 10 years with the Angels. I don't understand why he signed that deal. I understand he's loyal, but he's only been to the playoffs one time and they got swept. What makes I don't understand why he would sign that deal, but good for him. Manny Machado for 10 years with the Padres. So for 2 players, the Padres have 2 players together making $640 million for 24 years. 24 years are locked in with 2 players. Lord, they better hope these players pan out. If not, granted, like I said, they're going to get traded. The Padres not always, but they make these huge trades, get these huge free agents, and then they trade them. because they just don't pan out. And they have a pitching staff now finally. So they, for the next couple of years, are going to be scary. But for 14 years, scary? Well, that's another story. Then we have Garcola Stanton, 13 years with the Marlins. He signed it in 15. That's funny. He's no longer on the Marlins. He's now on the Yankees. Because why? The Marlins couldn't afford him. And not to mention, they sucked. So he didn't want to be there. I think that's probably going to happen with Tatis. They're end up going to go downhill. He's not going to like it. He's going to ask for a trade, but we'll see. Robinson Cano, 10 years. He signed in 2014 with the Seattle Mariners. Bet you they regret that signage ASAP. I mean, he's now on the Mets. He got traded last year or the year before. And he's suspended for the whole year because of PEDs. I'm pretty sure the Mariners are happy they got rid of him. They have problems beyond contracts right now, but that's a whole nother story. Maybe next week I'll get into that. But I mean, that Cano signing, they probably regretted that right away. 10 years, it's like he's not going to last that long. His numbers have been down. Joey Votto of the Reds for 10 years. I don't really pay attention to the Reds, honestly, but he's played majority of the games. He's not really injured like Stanton. Every year, he's going to miss close to half the year because of an injury. He's just so big. He's always getting hurt. But Votto, first baseman, doesn't really get hurt. Good contact guy, good RBI guy. So I'd say right now that's a good investment for them. It hasn't hurt them too much. They're not a playoff team, but he's putting up pretty good numbers. Albert Pujols with the Angels for 10 years. He signed that in 2012. So it's coming towards the end. And I'm pretty sure Angels are not happy with, or not happy. It was good at the start. But like I said, now the end of his contract, it's like, oh my gosh, why are we still paying him? Why is he still here? Like, he's hurting us on the field. He's not hitting. He's not doing anything. It's like we're paying him for what he did before he got older. That's the thing with these long contracts. It's like when it comes to the end of it, you're paying them for what they did, not what they can do, if that makes any sense. Because he's no longer hitting even 20 home runs a year, 100 RBIs. It's probably like 10 home runs, maybe 50 RBIs if he's lucky. So luckily for the Angels, though, that contract ends in a couple of years. So I don't have much more of that. He got asked about it, I remember last year about if he would opt out. And he goes, why? Why would I opt out? They're the ones paying me. Like I said with the Tatis, congrats to the guy. Like, they put that money in front of me, I'm signing it. Yep. You only got to ask me twice. 14, yep, we signing that before you can take that away. It's like, yep, that's good. All right, take it. Like, don't ask questions. They're willing to do a 14-year contract, you sign it. Like, sign on dotted lines as quick as you can. Because I'm pretty sure in the long run, they're going to regret it. And then the last one, Alex Rodriguez, 10-year, he signed in 2008. And again, yeah, I want to say they got a World Series ring out of it. But at the end of his career, he retired a year before it expired. Why? His performance was down. He was older. It just, once they get to a certain age, it makes no sense to sign them to a huge contract like that, years-wise. Because by the end of it, you're going to be paying them for what they used to do, not what they can do. Betts, Tatis, Trout, and Machado are all relatively young. So they'll still probably be able to produce at the end of their contract. But Harper, he's older. I don't think he's going to be able to produce as well once he gets older. He is in a hitter-friendly park in Philly, so that'll help his home run totals. But other than that, he's not going to be able to steal bases as much. And especially him, he goes hard out. So once he gets older, his body's not going to like him very much. I just don't see how that was a good signing. Again, for him, take it and run to the bank. The funny thing is, A-Rod is here, that one that I mentioned, and then he actually got 2 10-year contracts. He signed one with I want to say it's the Rangers he signed it with, a 10-year contract when he was young. So similar to a Tatis deal, to where he was young and he signed it, and he actually opted, and then he ended up getting traded. What do you know? Traded because the Rangers couldn't afford it. So they traded him to the Yankees, and he opted out in 07 to sign his new 10-year deal for even more money. And like I said, it's because he was young. So at the end of his 10-year deal, he was still producing high numbers. Now, why did the Yankees give him another 10-year deal? Because they're the Yankees. Why else? I mean, come on. It's the Yankees. They have, let's see, I didn't mention Jeter, who signed a 10-year also. That's another one. At the end of his career, he wasn't producing very well. Yeah, he was great during his prime. He was he made first ballot Hall of Famer. But at the end of his career, he was just out there. He wasn't doing much. He wasn't doing very well. But they had that contract. They had to pay him. And he was a Yankee. He wasn't couldn't imagine him with another team, but he was getting paid for what he had done, not what he can do. So the Yankees have 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 players on here on this list out of 12. 4 out of 12 players on this list were on the Yankees. And like I mentioned, 2 of the 12 now are on the Padres. Do the Padres really think they're the Yankees of Major League Baseball or the West Coast? If anything, the Dodgers, not the Padres. I'll say give 6-7 years, and both Machado and Tatis are traded. What do you guys think? If you guys have any questions, let me know. Until next week, I will see you guys. Don't forget to hit subscribe.